Hi guys, welcome back to Cupcakes and Protein Shakes. I'm your host, Savannah. We're getting ready to sit down with another athlete. Kelsey's coming to the show. She's going to tell us all about her recent adventures to the stage. So, welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you very much. I'm happy to be here.
Cool. So, tell us about your last show and when did you compete last?
So I competed for the first and second times last fall. December specifically was my last show that I did. It was an OCB competition in North Carolina, and so I live in Maryland, and I decided to do this show in North Carolina because it's in Charlotte, and that's where I went to college. So, just after having done my first show, which was in November, being that lean, I wanted to compete again, and there aren't that many shows that late in the year, so it was slim pickings, but I ended up going down to Charlotte, and it was the Queen City Showdown that I competed in.
So, you've done two shows?
Yes, last year was my first time ever competing. My first show was in November. It was the NPC Allied Forces or Armed Forces. It was a joint show, a couple shows in one. And then I didn't intend on doing a second show, my first season out, but after my one in November, I had so much fun. And, since it takes so long to get that stage lean look, I was like,
Yeah.
I want to try at least to push through prep one more month, get another show out of it before we call it done for the season.
Okay. So, where are you at now? Are you off season? Are you going to be on stage this year too?
So I will be on stage this year. That is a goal, and I'm currently in prep, but I'm in the very early stages of it. So I want to compete in September. That was the goal, but I'm actually moving across the country next month. So show dates are a little bit up in the air right now. But anytime between September and November is when I'm hoping to get on stage again.
And are you doing OCB or are you doing NPC?
I think I'm gonna stick with OCB for the most part. I do want to try an NPC natural show because I know there are a couple that are promoted and sponsored as being natural. But I love the camaraderie and the girls I met at my OCB show. So just since I intend to stay a natural athlete for the foreseeable future, I wanted to, kind of compete on the same kind of playing field in the natural federations.
Yeah, I feel like that's a good way to do it. You kind of went, was it a natural NPC show or was it just like a normal NPC show?
It was just a normal NPC show, and I just found it online. And, I didn't know any better when picking a show, really, but I just
Yeah.
found one in the time range that my coach was like, if you give me until November, you find me a November date, we can do it. So I just kind of
Okay.
happened upon it.
It was random. So you
Hmm.
have experience on two different federations. Obviously, OCB might have been a favorite because you're going to do it again.
Yeah.
But like, why? Like, let's just go over briefly, just like what are differences, good and bad? Just like good things about both,
Yes.
not necessarily bad things, but just like tell us the differences between what was your NPC experience like, what was your OCB experience?
Hmm. So again, I did not have a bad experience at my NPC show. I loved it. I mean, for my first ever show day, it was still so much fun. But going into it, you can only prepare yourself so much for what to expect or how quickly the schedule can change and whatnot. So the day of my NPC show, they had given us a schedule of time of events. The men's show was in the morning, the women's was in the afternoon. So when I got there for the athlete check-in meeting, pretty much all the women that had signed up to do this show were bikini. There were only a like handful of other division competitors. So they changed the whole schedule around. And instead of having a little bit more time pre-stage than what I was expecting, it was, oh no, you're on stage first. Like you were going to be bikinis going first instead of going last. And, I was in the second class to go. So I was feeling a little stressed, but I was calling my coach and like, what should I do? I only have, 10 or so minutes. And I like the tanning company at my NPC show better than my OCB tanning company. I just like the tan color itself. And then backstage, the company came and they bronzed us beforehand and really like I looked slick. It was crazy. It was such I've never had a spray tan before, so the one I have for my NPC show, it was insane. Um, and the show went well. I enjoyed it. I got to experience kind of a longer call out lineup. So, I was standing off to the wings for a little bit and holding that smile and my mouth is shaking and if you're up there for what feels like 10 minutes, but it really is even less than that. But it was a fun show all around and I got to talk to some of the girls backstage and made friends with them. We got each other's social medias afterwards. But there just wasn't much. It was kind of everyone is backstage and focused on themselves, which I can't argue with. I understand that for sure. But then at my OCB show backstage, it was, coaches are helping other athletes and like girls are talking to each other and making friends backstage and oh my gosh, let me fix this for you or here, use my mirror, use my pump up bands. There was just more camaraderie backstage, I would say. And I liked the way my OCB show was run. I thought the promoters did a very, very good job. And granted, that show had more competitors in other divisions, so it took a little bit longer, but they were very smooth and efficient with letting us know how it would go. When you line up, okay, you're gonna go backstage. So I had good experiences at both shows, but there was a little bit more fun in the OCB, which I just enjoyed.
Yeah, I've seen both. I saw my first OCB show in person this year, and it did seem like they really cared about like the fun aspects. Like the tiaras are really cute. Like that's just something
Right, right.
like when you compete, you work really hard, and sometimes if you don't place, like if you didn't even get a swag bag or anything, like you will literally walk away with nothing, like no medal,
Right.
no t-shirt, no trophy, no
Hmm.
tiara. But like OCB like makes you feel like special. And then they give you
Right.
the little tiaras and then the medal and then you get the
Right.
sword or the trophy or whatever it is for the placements. And they give you a lot of stage time. Like I feel like
Hmm.
they really let you have almost like a pro level 30 seconds to like a minute routine, which is
Yes.
rare. It's like a good thing and a bad thing. It's like, oh my gosh, that's forever to be on stage. But like you work really hard for that time. So I was like, this is great. Like you get to be on stage for a long time. They're really
Right.
positive and um I think they're like pretty all inclusive too. Like they have
Hmm.
different categories, similar categories, but like slightly different for what they're looking for.
Hmm.
But NPC you will make friends, but on show day, probably not, just because everyone is
Yeah.
it's really competitive. So like you've worked really hard and you're just there to get the job done. Like it's like in and out.
Right.
This is a job, which is not a bad thing. It's just it's different. So with natural NPC, it's
Right.
way like it's just the competitive top athletes. They're going to
Right.
be
Exactly.
going NPC route, and then natural athletes are going to find either natural NPC or OCB. So for OCB, I think
Right.
I want to say it's easier to earn a pro card. I just think it might be. Um, and then you get to the pro level and you can win prize money too, which I think is like a really big deal, especially for like why we do
Hmm.
this. Um, okay, so for you, bikini, do you have to get like top one or two, or like how do they award pro cards for OCB?
The show that I did, and I'm pretty sure it's standard across all shows, but don't quote me on that. But at my show in Charlotte, it was the overall winner for each division. So you have to win overall in the open category, and then also The overall masters, I believed, also got pro cards.
Yeah, which is crazy to get pro cards out at your first show. Like it's a really cool
Right,
thing, and
right.
you get to see, oh my gosh, like this girl next to me, like we're competing, and then suddenly like they're pros, which is really really cool. And then I think it's good because you get to see yourself even on your first show. So now you're like, okay, I was next to a pro, and
Mm-hmm.
now I know what I need to fix, and then you can go into your next show hopefully with a
Right.
different package. Feedback, did you get feedback for either show?
Yeah, so I got feedback from both shows, and funny enough, it was pretty much exactly the same. They
Mhm.
told me they wanted to see tighter hamstrings and tighter shoulders, especially in the front, and then fuller glutes, um, which, was pretty much what I expected. I mean, last year being my first time ever prepping, I had a good base physique going into it, but my quad, I was very quad dominant. I didn't have much hamstring development in the first place. So
Yeah.
then getting that feedback from both shows in my off season, we really, hammered in, all right, hamstrings and glutes, shoulders, and I think it really helped and made a difference because I feel like the physique I'm starting prep with now is completely different and I'm just built differently now than I was last year. So I can definitely see the growth, but yeah, it was kind of the same feedback between both of the shows.
Yeah. I mean, that's good. It's consistent because sometimes I'm like, do they look for different things? But it's
Right.
good to know like they're looking for the same thing. You're like, easy, I can definitely do that.
Hmm.
And okay, so from prep to off season, what do you think was better or worse or like harder or easier? Is it easier to prep or is it easier to off season? What do you think?
So, oh, that's so hard. It's so hard because starting prep now is harder than it was last year, but I honestly think reversing and coming out of prep is harder just because I mean, once your competition comes and passes and like that weekend and the initial fun and celebrations and meals, it's like, okay, well, what do I do now? Like, do I get back on track? I need someone to tell me what to do. So I still work with my coach. It was never a question in my mind to stop working with my coach after I was done competing for the year. Um, but I told him like I want to commit to a clean bulk and give myself treats here and there because I'm finally done and I want to enjoy life. But, I want to do this in a way that's healthy and, introducing more carbs back in slowly because I'm diabetic. So being at very low carbs to suddenly, bringing them back up, you have to be meticulous about that and take it a little bit slower. So it was it was hard at the start coming out of it because you're still so lean and you're like, oh, if I even eat one thing off plan, I'm gonna look huge or I'm gonna, gain 10 pounds. You think I was still definitely in that prep mentality of, yes, that one extra bite matters or that extra calorie matters. But, going through these past couple months and getting to a healthy weight again, I could feel myself come back to life. I on and I was increasing my calories and getting back to a maintenance weight and maintenance calorie. I could feel the life come back to my face. And my friends in the gym were like, you look like yourself again. I can finally see the light in your eyes or whatever. So it was definitely harder reverse dieting because no one really prepares you for that. But I mean, my biggest saving grace was being close with my coach and, all telling all my concerns to him, even if it's small or big or whatever. But it was not easy. It was not for the weak.
Yeah, the reverse diet is, I think, the toughest. I really do. And because prep
Yeah.
is easy because there is a deadline. So
Mm-hmm.
like I'm keeping my stuff together. I have this date. I can't
Right.
mess up. I'm getting ready. And it's always more exciting leading up to it. But like once the date is gone, it's over and everything, you're just like, now what do I do? Like, what do I do with the rest
Right,
of this?
right,
Like, I have time that I didn't have before instead of doing cardio. So, what are some of the
right.
mistakes that you made?
What are some of the what
The mistakes that you made during the prep?
during prep
Yeah, or on stage or just like in the
or
process.
on stage? Well, on stage, I can't say it was necessarily a mistake, but I was more nervous than I thought I was. Standing backstage in line, I was okay, breathing fine, whatever. But then going out on stage, one of my legs was just shaking uncontrollably the whole time. And, I was trying to put more pressure on it to get it to stabilize or stop or whatever. So, I kind of lost my focus on what I was doing in my routine, trying to think about making my legs stop shaking. So I think definitely in my first competition, my NPC one, that my posing routine, my individual was a little bit off, just not the strongest what I knew I could have done. Um, because I was trying to make up for it, but other mistakes, I'm trying to think. I feel like last year, I really told myself if I'm gonna try this out and get into bodybuilding, like I'm gonna commit 110%. So, going through with the dieting and the meal plans and everything, I really didn't slip up or ever felt like falling off track. I think I just kept telling myself the only way to tell if you really like this sport and want to continue in it is if you give it 110% because then, I can look back on show day and say, well, I left it all on the table. Do I actually enjoy this or not? But yeah, I'd have to sit and think about that. Other like mistakes.
I mean, yeah, I'm glad that you said if you're gonna do it, like do it. Because I know that there's a lot of girls that they they do it, but they're not doing it, if that makes sense. Like
Right.
they're just kind of going through the motions because they're not sure if they're gonna like it, especially that first prep. Like that's where the mistakes are made. That's where if you're
Right.
not serious and you are taking the bites or you're eating off plan and you're just kind of like drinking still or whatever, or just skipping workouts
Mm-hmm.
here and there and not truly realize like not taking it serious, it is a more humbling experience once you get to stage. It doesn't happen for everyone. I do think a lot of new first
Right.
time competitors take it serious, but I've also seen the opposite where they wish they would have taken it more serious. So if there's any like
Mm-hmm.
advice here, I think even if it's your first time and you still don't know if you're gonna like it, like treat it like go all in, like do all the
Right.
things you say on your plan, make sure that
Right.
you like do give it your all. What does that look like? And see what happens. Because there's
Mm-hmm.
been preps when I look back, I'm like, oh, I don't think I was giving it my all. What could I have looked like? Or how could I have placed if I, cleaned up the diet or I didn't, skip this or that, or if I had
Right.
more sleep or less stress, or there's certain decisions that I'm like, maybe if I would have known how much those little things would have added up, I probably wouldn't have done that.
Right.
Or being strategic about off season, when to prep, when to not prep, not just like going to show after show just because.
Mm-hmm.
In like 4 weeks between shows, I think having at least two shows under your belt, like that's to your benefit because if you didn't do your second show and you just called it after the first one, like you wouldn't have found maybe OCB, like you might not have found that kind
Right.
of like thing that you were looking for. Like it's funny because my client did the opposite. We did OCB first and then NPC, and she kind of had the same
Mm-hmm.
reaction. She's like, I like both, but OCB was more fun. I don't know.
Yeah.
Let's just
Yeah.
do both. And feedback was this exact same. So she's kind of in the same boat of now I want to get better.
Mm-hmm.
And if you fall in love with the sport and you're just like, okay, I want to get better, I want to get better, that's where the fun part happens. So even in the off season when it's like the dates off, in the back of your mind, you're like, okay, I know what I did last time. I'm going to take
Mm-hmm.
it up a notch. I'm going to take it up a notch. And each
Right.
it gets easier and harder because it's like one, how much you have to struggle. You're like, okay,
Mm-hmm.
I completed one
Mm-hmm.
prep. I know how hard I push. And then like you're starting it again. You're like, oh, I don't want to be hungry. Oh, I don't
Right,
want to do cardio. But
right,
you do. It's like
right,
I want to look lean and fit, but it's like, oh, I don't really want to do that, but I know I need to do it.
right,
So,
right.
okay, so with like food, cardio, hair, makeup, stuff like that, was there anything else that you're going to be changing this season? Like, what are you guys changing about peaking? Are you changing anything
Yes.
with the look?
So we are making some changes, especially to my conditioning and how I train conditioning and, hits and circuits and everything. So last season, on one of my workout days, I was doing sprints for a while. I would do
Boy,
sprints in like, a certain interval of time. And we thought that it would help lean my legs out, but it had the opposite effect and, kept them big and strong and they did not want to budge any weight. So we were taking that out this time. We were going to go about it a different way and just do less ov less leg movements that have any chance of getting my quads involved. Because when I say I'm quad dominant, like I have not done a specific quad focused movement in my entire off season. I have not touched them. So we're switching that up. I am making some changes to my posing routine. I have gone to a couple group posing clinics and just one-on-ones with new posing coaches in my off season, just learning more about posing in general, just stuff that I still have yet to learn. But really working on my transitions and finding my, little personal touch in how I want to move and transition from front to back and everything. Um, Other changes, we have played around with my peak plan a little bit. When I was peaking last year, we um, went kind of carb heavy at the start of peak week and then tapered down and then a slight bump before the show. And then we did a kind of mock peak week just to try out the meal plan idea that my coach had. And we kept calories high for a lot longer and then cut them down. And I didn't personally care for one or the other. And I think that kind of went the same. There was no major differences, but we are going to play around with the water again this time, a little bit more than we did last year. I think cutting it down peak week really helps dry me out and get some of that extra water weight out. So I know we are going to make some changes in the water and salt, area of it all.
Okay. And then are you keeping like hair, makeup the same?
Yeah, hair makeup will be the same. I got it done by the host makeup artist at both of my shows, and I love my makeup for both of them. Um, because in OCB they tend to, move your hair off your back. I think I'm going to keep my hair straight for competitions. I don't love my hair when it's curled, so that plus the big earrings. I had my hair curled at my OCB show. I had it straight at my NPC show just to try both. But my curls were getting caught in the big earrings and it was harder to make sure my back, which isn't that big of a deal, but in the moment, those tiny details, like it stresses you out. So I'm thinking keeping my hair straight, makeup will be the same. I am actually going to purchase my own competition suit this season though. I rented both suits last season because I didn't want to invest all that money for a suit if I didn't even want to continue, being on stage, but I definitely do. So I'm in the process of kind of trying to pick my color, my suit, my everything. Ugh,
That's tough. I know
yeah.
it's hard. It's hard.
Yeah, it's
Trust me, I know.
stressful.
It's like, oh, okay, I got the color down. It's like, oh, what about the
But
gems? Like, what
right,
about the
right.
crystals? goals.
Right.
Are we doing a pattern? Are we doing like, so I know, I get it. It's like, okay, there's so many little details to pick out, but it's really fun and you have plenty of time. Like you're still like
Hmm.
we're just in the middle of the season. So like we really have like you still have a lot of time to prep.
Right.
Um, and I think that's like time. The only thing that I really remember about prepping for the first time, it made time speed up, even though it felt slow in the moment. Like when you're in prep, you're like, oh my gosh, like I have 12 weeks, I have 13 weeks, I have 14 weeks, and it feels like forever. And then you get done, and suddenly it's like peak week, and you're like, oh my God, that went way too fast.
Right.
And it's
Right.
crazy, like how
Right.
time, when you start counting like a prep, like there's like pre-prep you and then post-prep you because you're like,
Hmm.
okay, like you truly understand one, how much can you accomplish in 12 weeks? It's crazy. You can completely,
Right.
shred up in 12 weeks and
Right.
look completely
Right.
different. And then it's like, okay, well, what can I do in this year? And like you're like,
Hmm.
oh my gosh, I don't even look the same. Like it's crazy. So I just remember that when I like look back, even at all the shows, I'm like, how did that happen? Like, I like it feels like it was literally yesterday that I was stepping on stage for the first
Right.
time. And now we're like back in prep for another one and another one. It's
Right.
like
I
I'm not,
know.
it's like I'm ready, but I'm not ready. And I don't know. It just goes by differently. And I feel like mentally it like forces you to mature really fast because it's like there's no vices. Like we can't eat, we can't drink,
Right.
we can't just like we go to the gym and we have so much cardio, like we don't have time to like think about feelings. We're just like, I'm at the gym, I'm at the gym, I'm at the gym, I'm eating, I'm eating.
Right.
There's
Right.
like so much to do. So long term, like what are goals with this next couple shows and like how did you actually place for your first two shows?
So in both of my shows last year, I competed in three divisions, like true novice, novice, and then open. At my NPC show, I placed third in my true novice class and fourth in my novice class. And then at my OCB show, I placed first in my true novice and novice classes and second in my open class. So I am really, really hoping that I get my OCB Pro card this year. If I'm being honest, I'm gonna put it out into the world. Like, um, after that, I didn't intend on doing that second show. I didn't plan it until after my first one. So there was a lot of stress and personal turmoil going through that extra month of prep. I didn't even think I would get to my second show date some of those weeks. So walking away from that show after having like the worst month ever, um, really like just rekindled that fire and was like, all right, like we're going for it this season. So this year I am intending to compete in two shows, just have that mindset already that I'm gonna do two, plan, prepare myself for those extra couple weeks in between shows. I think that will just help the mindset of it all so much. And again, like I said, I'm moving next month, so show dates are up in the air, but I hope to compete September and then October or October and November, but I'll be competing out west. I'm moving from the East Coast, so I'm going to be in a whole new like league of shows and all new promoters that I've never, seen or interacted with before, but I'm excited just to get more involved in the world of the sport,
Yeah.
being part of the community more is what I'm like looking to get out of this because I love it and I love this space. And I had been weightlifting for a couple years before I decided to prep last year, but this competitor space and this shared mindset and the way you're able to connect with people after going through similar things, it's just a very bonding but an uplifting and like positive community to be a part of.
Yeah, it's so funny how that works. It's like once you figure out someone's a competitor, it's really bizarre. Like you're just friends. Like she gets
Right.
me. Like she
Right.
understands this lifestyle because it's very niche. Not everyone does it. And those that stay into it, they do love to like work hard. It's like the 1% of the 1%. So it is
Right.
very small community. But like once you get into it, like there's people everywhere that are doing this sport and it is fun. Like it's fun to go to the gym. Like it's fun to bodybuild. It's fun to,
Right.
at least
Right.
it is for me. Like it's fun to like how much food can we eat in the off season and like just get our calories up. Like how much muscle can I build? How heavy can I hip thrust today? Like
Right.
what are we
Right.
doing? Like let's pose, let's do a little like whatever, you know? So it is fun just to like mentally take it to the next level. And you're, I mean, you're pretty close to a pro card. Like I don't feel like that's out of the question. Like it's pretty crazy, like first season to like get that close, which is, and it happens. Like it's awesome that that happens. And then the
Yeah.
next level of then if you turn pro, like then what? Because they have like that's like oh shoot. So just
Right.
enjoy the amateur life because it's the most fun because it's like that hunger drive like you're really like going all for it like no
Right.
excuses that mindset is just like gotta be the pro like it's
Right.
crazy how
Right.
it's like the chase is the most fun part so you'll have a good time um yeah and is there any like other piece of advice that you want to drop for girls that are thinking about doing competing that you would want to give them?
Let me think for a second. I would definitely say if you were thinking of competing or just getting into bodybuilding as a training style, do your own research. Do as much research as you possibly can yourself to understand what it is you're getting into. Before I ever even told my coach I was interested in bodybuilding, I had been doing research on my own or talking. I have a couple people in my life personally that bodybuild. So, I was getting my mind ready. So definitely do as much research as you can. And like I said, that also helped me to decide, okay, I'm going to commit 110% now that I know what's at stake and what is being asked of me. So definitely do your research. I would say, I mean, it's hard, but be able to rely on yourself. Like you have to be able to look at yourself on the days when you can barely drag yourself out of bed and say, you still have stuff to do, you got to go do it. There's definitely find the difference between pushing your limits in a bad way. And, there are times when I say, no, going to the gym would hurt me today instead of helping. But be able to distinguish those times from, oh, I just don't want to do it. And so I'm not going to. It's hard. It's hard to do it, but I will tell you, you come out the other side of it just a different person. And the process is worth it, I would say.
Yeah. I would say as well. It was like
I
it
would
is worth
say,
it.
like,
Do me.
yeah, yeah, I'm crying. Like, the people in my gym probably call me crying a lot of the time, but it was worth it. It was all
Yeah.
worth it in the end.
Yeah, like that's the those are the times where like you're so depleted and frustrated and you're just like sitting in your car like crying because you're like I just
Right.
like don't want to go in.
Right.
Such a
Especially when
men
the cardio's long, it's like, oh my God, I have to be here another hour, when you finish a lift and it's like,
yeah. Yeah, sometimes I'll just like try to do my cardio at least some of it before. I'll just like
the
split it up.
smallest thing.
I'm gonna do it halfway between so I can get
Mhm.
out of there. Because like after I lift, like I'm done. Like I would like to go home.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. That's actually something else I might try out this season too. Doing maybe not fasted cardio, but like doing
Yeah.
cardio in the mornings and then having it split like that instead of I do all my cardio and lifting at the same time. But that is just too much some days. Way too
Yeah.
much time at the gym some days. I can't.
So is there anything else that you want to leave us with? Final piece of advice.
Um, Let me think. Final piece of advice, whether it's bodybuilding or just weightlifting for fun or powerlifting, whatever it is, find what you love to do in the gym and stick with it. You should always do things that you enjoy doing. And when you do that, you're going to surround yourself with amazing people that are like-minded and want you to, succeed and reach your goals. And you can do a lot in the gym if you just let yourself. So I'll leave you with that.
Okay. And if anyone wants to follow your journey, where can they do so?
You can follow me on Instagram at krlifting. I'm also on TikTok. I don't post too much gym content, but I'm trying to get into it. And it's just Kelsey Raley.
Okay. Yeah, I love TikTok. It's fun.
Right. I definitely like post more gym content on my Instagram, but like I want to post fun stuff on my TikTok.
Yeah,
So,
TikTok is just the wild west of content.
right, right,
You might get gym, you might get random, who knows what, but
right. I know. I
all right.
love it.
And then final question of the day, if you were team cupcake or are you team protein shake?
Oof. I'm gonna have to go cupcake. I mean, I know I'm diabetic, but
Yeah.
I can't say no to a cupcake every now and then. Like,
Okay. And then what flavor of cupcake would you pick?
I would do specifically because my mom is a baker, her strawberry cupcake with her buttercream frosting on top.
I love it. All right. Well, thanks for coming out to the show and good luck this year.
Thank you so much for having me.